Hey people, thank you for joining me today. As you know, if you've seen me before, I'm very new at this, and the lighting is the hardest part. Prior to getting involved in YouTube, which was just like 2 weeks and 2 days ago, I always assumed that the content would be the hardest part. But people told me it was the lighting, and that's definitely true. Anybody who knows lighting knows this. So, I want to just express my gratitude to everybody who's been hanging in there with me while I've been figuring this out. And the name of my channel is Justice A to Z, which, is pretty self explanatory. I'd like to have my slogan maybe be the channel that loves you back. So, it's been a really rough few days, I think, for the Kylie Rodney family, the Kylie Rodney case. Hold on a sec. The family had their memorial service for her on Saturday. And, the whole thing is just utter devastation. So, for the mother to request people to not discuss her daughter is completely understandable. And at the same time, people like myself are extremely concerned that something funny is going on. So, we don't want to allow for funny business to be going on unquestioned. It's sort of all we can do really is question it. So I think that it's important to validate the mother's wishes, and at the same time do what we feel is right, which is following our heart. And a lot of us care about Kylie and care about others like Kylie, and whatever it is that happened to her, we hope doesn't happen to anybody else. So we hope that we can put our 2 cents in to try to make the world a better place. And social media is a funny thing. I have had a tough time warming up to it as well. But it's much like telephones were and TVs. When they first were around, people didn't like it. It changed the pace of life. It just changed everything. It takes a while to get caught up. But I think that there can be a lot of good that comes of it. And I'm hoping to be part of the good. Definitely respecting Kylie and her family. So let's get down to it, and I want to give my little disclaimer. Everything I say is just my opinion. May or may not be relevant to the case, and it's just for discussion purposes only, education, entertainment. Please be kind with your words to anyone, especially this family that's obviously going through so much. So, Gabby Petito is a perfect example of how the social media actually helped her case and helped solve her case. I mentioned that before. I've heard other people speak about it. It's really true. And the Petito family, they recognized the double-edged sword, that there was part of it that was very hard to deal with social media, but that the benefits outweighed the challenges. So I'm hoping that that's the same here. So this laptop was found. What was that? A night or two before her memorial service? I think it was 2 nights before. And, that kind of blew everybody away for a lot of reasons. And there's been a lot of questions, which I think is always healthy. My main question is, how did it go unnoticed, or was it planted? There has been a lot of discussion on a lot of the channels that, it's just very interesting. I really don't want to insult anybody or shame anyone. That's not what this is about. This is about promoting truth and justice and peace. So, you know, it's hard to talk about this case in light of all that. And, you know, just trying to be completely respectful. The autopsy, you know, we're still waiting for results for that. And I hope to God that the family is getting an independent second autopsy simultaneous with the first one that's being done by law enforcement. You know, there's just too many weird things about this case. Too many weird things. People just don't go missing from high school graduation parties. I said it before in one of my other videos that people getting murdered at parties is nothing new. It's something that has happened historically with like rival gangs and that sort of thing. And it's kind of the blanket situation is that nobody at the party knows anything. Nobody saw anything. You know, the code of silence is extreme, and it's also extremely dangerous. It's kind of your typical small town MO. And it's also very like mafia. I've heard some of these locals online, truckee locals, referring to like the truckee mafia. And, you know, it sounds like it's kind of tongue in cheek, but, you know, there is an element of that pretty much everywhere. There's drugs, there's trafficking of drugs and other things. There's money laundering. The code of silence is extremely dangerous, and that was a point that Kylie's mother hit on that really hit a nerve with me. You know, silence is deadly, can be. Silence can be peaceful and tranquil. And that serenity is obviously a fabulous thing, but the other side of silence is secrets. And secrets can be very dangerous and very hurtful. And like I said, the last thing we want is for there to be another person that suffers however it is that Kylie suffered. Whether that was some type of wrongdoing involving others, or if that was her own situation that she created for herself, which, you know, people like to think that. People like to think that there are no victims and that we're all responsible for whatever it is that we experience. And to some extent, I feel like that's true. But I also think it's important to recognize that there are victims. There are perpetrators. There are people who want to do harm to other people and will take advantage of a vulnerable person. You know, nobody wants to see that side of humanity, and nobody wants Kylie to have experienced that side of humanity in her last hours. So, with all due respect, I'm going to keep this one short, and I just want to say that, you know, please don't shame Kylie. Don't shame social media. Don't shame her mother. Allow people to do what they need to do. And I just don't think it can be said better than that. You know, there's a cloud of suspicion that goes with what we've all learned about the situation. And it's hard. It's really hard to just kind of sit and wait and see what comes next from the news or from family members or friends. Hopefully, Adventures with Purpose will be putting out some more information soon. There's been so many YouTubers talking about this case, and I think that, you know, a healthy discussion is a great thing. I don't think it's appropriate to shame folks that are trying to make the world a better place and trying to make the world a safer place. So on that, again, I appreciate your watching my channel, and I hope to continue to deliver new videos, maybe daily or almost daily, especially when there's so much information coming out, which it kind of seems like there is, and it kind of seems like there isn't. You know, there's a lot of discussions happening, and then there's, you know, everybody's just kind of talking about Kylie's memorial service and just how sad that was. And, you know, there weren't many teenagers there, which is very odd. You would expect a lot, even if not so many kids were real tight with her because she was homeschooled and went to the charter school. Just because that's the way kids are and that's the way people are in a small community. They like to show their love and support in a time of crisis. So personally, from where I stand, it really makes me wonder if people are afraid to show up, you know, afraid to be looked at by law enforcement. Law enforcement is always going to be present at a memorial service of somebody who died suspiciously. And, you know, being 16 years old and not making it to your 17th birthday is very suspicious. She wasn't suicidal. I'm not buying that for a minute. She could have been making some unsafe choices, or, you know, she was making some unsafe choices and just hanging out at the wrong place at the wrong time. And, you know, bless Kylie's spirit, bless her family. I wish them peace, and I just hope that they get answers and that there's justice for Kylie. That's really all I have to say today. Thank you so much for watching, and look forward to seeing you the next time.